Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. Today's video will be on the Sony A90J Master Series OLED at 83 inches. We will have it introduced by Robert Zohn of Value Electronics. I spent a few hours yesterday in Scarsdale at Robert and Wendy's store. Beautiful location, amazing gallery, which is actually full of 83-inch A90Js and as well as LG C1s. It is wall-to-wall 83-inch panels. You have many questions in regards to the A90J. Very popular panel, probably the best panel so far this year. It is the brightest OLED as it does have the heatsink. Brightest OLED in the US anyway, as the Panasonic lineup is not available for us out here. But you have many questions about it. Is it worth it? It is a Master Series. It is more expensive. It's also 83 inches. Is 83 inches really worth the jump? Is really a lot of the questions I get in the comments. Behind me is the 77-inch A80 and a 75-inch 900E. But since the 77-inch A80 has launched, it's kind of compromised the A90. A lot of talk about the A90 only being bright in one vivid preset. There's not a big difference, many people will say. And also the jump from 83 inches to 77 inches is not very much. We're here to answer those questions. Robert will answer many of those questions for you. For me, spending some time with the 83-inch, the size difference does feel massive. It is gorgeous, very, very immersive, but I'll let Robert tell you about that. We also have a little bit of footage on the C1. The interview is rather long. At the end, we will discuss the X95 from Sony, the Z9J from Sony, as well as the QNED lineup from LG. Without further ado, here is Robert Zohn of Value Electronics. All right, guys, here we are with our friend Robert Zohn of Value Electronics. Robert, you are introducing the A90J 83-inch Master Series. Take it away, my friend. Tell me what you like about this panel, what this panel means to our industry.
Very good. Thank you very much, Brian, and all who are watching the show today. One thing I wanted to mention that probably everybody knows is they measure these TVs diagonally. So the 83-inch TV is only 72 inches in width, overall outside dimension width, and the height is 42 inches. So an 83-inch TV is 72 inches wide. And the recommended viewing distance by everybody's professional standards is this TV should be viewed at about 7 feet away. Now that seems a little bit large, close for an 83-inch TV, and it is, but it's supposed to be like that, and you very quickly get accustomed to it. You get pure blacks with an OLED TV. You can't do that with a transmissive LCD LED technology. And it gives you a perception of the TV being even much brighter than it is, because our human visual system sees the pure black against its 800 or so nits, and there's only so many f-stops of contrast that we can see. So perception is that the TV, because it goes to pure black, and the differentiation between black and its peak lumens is so large that it perceives to be much brighter than it is.
And just for contrast, Robert is 6 foot 2 inches.
Yes.
And that panel is 83 inches. And Robert and I are talking off camera about the importance of this being the first 83 inch along with the C1, but 83 inches first for us, right, Robert?
Yes, it is. So we've never had an OLED TV other than the 88-inch 8K. We've never had an OLED TV of this screen size. So that's an important development for this year. The big advancement this year in display technology for Sony is the XR processor. And as you know, they call it cognitive intelligence. It is a much smarter processor, and it has much more memory in it. It does a much better job of upconverting low resolution content like cable. It does a much better job with motion resolution, color accuracy, and in managing the new much higher contrast dynamic tonal range. So as you know, they put a heatsink system in here that thermally cools the panel, and because they can cool the panel, they can make it much brighter. So the dynamic tonal range is much larger this year. That not only gives us the advantage of being a brighter TV, which helps in high ambient light viewing, helps when you're watching high dynamic range content that you're streaming or watching on a 4K Blu-ray disc with less compression and better color volume. But it also, the bigger dynamic tonal range gives you more steps of illumination. Combine that with managing the XR processor, managing that dynamic tonal range, we have a much more detailed image. And this is what I don't hear people talking about. A bigger dynamic tonal range gives us much more detail in the image. It gives us a more dimensional look. It looks more naturally 3D. That's something that you can't get without this much larger infinite dynamic tonal range that we have.
Well, we talked about the peak brightness gets dismissed as only being available in vivid mode. You and Jonathan are seeing that in all content.
That's correct.
During your QC process.
That's correct.
Go ahead, Robert.
When we calibrate the TVs for full HD SDR and for high dynamic range, Dolby Vision and HDR10, we calibrate the TV in HDR10 to be about 760 nits. The TV has the capability, and some of them are 780. The TV has the capability to go to 1350 nits in the vivid mode.
Mm-hmm.
But when we calibrate the TV, we're looking for the most accuracy. So this TV can develop its peak accuracy, its best picture quality at about 760 to 780 nits. That's very bright for an OLED TV.
Yeah,
some of them hit 800 nits.
Well, and for context, so we're talking about calibrating, Robert. As you can see, these guys have them all over the environment. These are all at 77 inch. We also have the ZX, we have the G1, we have another A90, and as we sweep the room, you're looking at a 83 inch C1.
That's correct.
Which at some point we'll get them side by side, but obviously our friends are, and we also have C1 there. So they're very busy here, but Robert sees them every day.
We do.
So dismissing the A90 as only being bright in one picture mode. Now everyone's big question, Robert, is A90 is a master series. We'll talk about what that entails, but they want to know from the A80 at 77, is it worth the price jump to go 83 at the A90?
Well, other than it being brighter, and again, more detail in the image and a more dynamic, almost naturally 3D look that you get from the Master Series, you're also getting a larger screen size. And remember, they measure it diagonally, so it's taller and wider.
Mm-hmm.
The extra 6 or 7 inches is about 23% more square inches. So you're getting a larger screen, you're getting a brighter screen. You're getting a TV, the Master Series. Sony takes that badge very seriously. They do a full quality control. They calibrate them at the factory. They set the white point to a very good offset white point that really does a very good job, particularly for Dolby Vision HDR. So you're getting a TV that's quality controlled and calibrated. You're getting a larger screen, you're getting the brighter screen.
You said the sound. I have the A80 for courtesy of Value Electronics, and I think that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
But the sound on the Master Series is on another level.
That's correct. So the Master Series has an upgraded built-in audio system with surprisingly very, very good audio built in. But you could also, uniquely on the A90 Master Series, use all of the actuators that generate the sound. You can use all of them as your center channel speaker. It has 2 subwoofers built in, so you get a full dynamic tonal range. You don't have to buy the center channel speaker or position, where do we put that awkward center channel?
Mm-hmm.
And you get very good audio fidelity right out of the television as your center channel speaker. So if you have an external audio system, you should try this as your center channel, and you'll be very pleasantly surprised. It also images beautifully. So when the speaker is on TV, when the actors are speaking or singing, you feel the voices coming right out of their mouths. So it images really beautifully.
And they started that with the Z9J. They started that center channel.
That's correct. And you'll never say again, what did he say? I didn't hear that.
Yep.
That problem goes away.
Yep.
So this is a Master Series TV.
And how do you feel? I know we talk about 20% more screen size. How do you feel? Do you feel it's a big jump in size, and you do feel the price difference is warranted if you want to go with the 83 inch?
Yes. So it's common in all screen sizes from all brands to get sort of exponentially more expensive as the screens get larger.
Especially with a Master Series.
Especially with a Master Series, so you are getting a step-up model with some very good features in both audio performance, particularly in peak lumens and all the detail and all the extra benefit that comes with the extra lumens.
Now, I should have mentioned this in the intro, which I will do when we redo this, is that the reflections you're seeing, just to give you some, again, context, we have a sunlight or skylight, and as we get to the front of the store, so the reflection handling is not terrible. It's just that we're putting it in the worst spot possible. This is the front of the location, so it's not the greatest representation of this reflection handling. Correct, Robert?
That is correct. Thank you. And you know, we took this store 10 years ago when we moved from another location because we fell in love with this location in the store.
It's beautiful.
But it is the enemy of television viewing quality. So once you take these home and you see it in a normal ambient light, they really look appreciably better than what we're even seeing here now.
And Robert, you said normal ambient light. I think there is the misnomer now that OLEDs are only successful in a dark room, which I disagree with.
Not at all true. Right?
Behind you, behind this X90 is a QN90A,
Right.
which Robert has clean ones here available. But speak a little bit for me on OLEDs do well in a bright room. They're not disabled or anything.
So one of the advantages of an OLED, unlike the way plasma is operated, is when the ambient light was raised, the blacks got raised with it. That doesn't happen here. Blacks stay pure black, regardless of the ambient light conditions. And now, all of them, even a Q80A and a C1, is brighter than the 2020 models. So they stand up very well to high ambient light. So they're more than plenty bright enough for any bright room environment.
And also, again, having all of the boxes here, these are all 77, everyone. And we know on AVS forums, we've had a lot of reports of pinkish, a lot of banding, and Robert and Jonathan QC these. I'm sure you've rejected some of them or sent them back.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit on what you've seen so far with the screen uniformity for you out of the box, not after QC, but when you guys experienced them?
On A90Js, we've calibrated over 100 that we've QC'd. And we had 4 that we rejected. Okay. So it's a fairly small number. On A90Js, we've done about 60 so far, and we rejected only 1.
That's the 83-inch variant?
83-inch.
Okay.
So it's a very small rate of rejection, but it does happen sometimes.
And what would qualify as rejection material for you, Robert?
A dead or a stuck pixel would be rejected. Abnormal screen uniformity, and there's a lot of things that go into screen uniformity. There's the vertical lines, there's the banding, there's tinting. So there's a lot of things that we test for. Sony and LG have been very good to us, and we've been seeing very clean panels come through here.
Okay.
I don't know if that's anything special that happens, but we've been certainly at least lucky at.
So for everyone, AVS forums, obviously it's valuable to have all that information, but we are talking to somebody who sees this size every day.
And we see a very high volume. That's the other thing. A big shout out to Sony and LG for being very kind to us and very generous to us in allocating high volumes of constrained, hard to get inventory. So we're filling all of our orders, we're getting a lot of orders, and there's no shortage of the hard-to-get TVs from our company.
And also, Robert, we've also talked about the price drops that typically would come with these lineups due to shortages. They actually don't need to happen, so they may not happen as they would have in the past. We know the A9G stayed expensive for a very long time, so those waiting for the A90 to come down, especially at this size.
I'm sorry to say it is not happening. So all these companies, the manufacturers, give the dealers what they call the promotional roadmaps, which gives us a peek into the future for the next 6 weeks. It is fluid and subject to change, but it generally doesn't change. However, it did change on the 83 A90J, where there was a planned promotion that so many people have heard about, where it was going to drop $1,000. Sony told us it would drop. They gave us the date. Well, that was withdrawn. There is no price drop. They can't build enough of them to fill the demand. So there's no reason for Sony to lower the price. And again, they've been very generous with our company on allocating everything we ask for.
So it's important as we talk about the 83-inch A9 or the A90 being a premium high-end product, you are paying for that extra percentage.
Yes, you are.
And if you want it probably to go get it.
Yes.
It's not really going to fall the way they have in the past.
If it's okay to rationalize this over the very long term that you're going to own it, and every time you turn it on, you're going to be wowed.
Yeah, going to be blown away.
And also, we offer a 2-year interest-free financing if that helps as well.
Excellent. Now, Robert, before we sign off, I know we're looking forward to a few more panels in the upcoming. I know things have been pushed back. What are you most excited about? Is it the QNED, the X95, the Z9J? What has you personally most excited?
Well, you just called out my 3 most optimistic models. I worked on the development with the Sony engineers on this XR processor and the X95 and the Oleds, as well as the Z9J. So I am very, very optimistic for these new models, as well as LG's QNED 90 and the QNED 99 8K. This year, I am promised that the IPS panel will deliver deep, rich blacks, never before seen on an IPS panel.
Yep.
So it'll have the benefit of wide viewing performance, and it'll have the benefit of deep, rich blacks. It'll have thousands of local dimming zones with many tens of thousand mini LEDs. So the QNED 90 and 99 are on my radar.
I know we believe that because the nano cell, which is not behind me anymore, but you had the 8K, and that I would have thought that was a VA panel. I was very impressed with. That was the only nano I thought was very impressive.
Very good, very good. Well
so
said.
those are the 3. Now, do you think that can turn the tides a little bit as OLED is becoming affordable and more commonplace? Is there a shot for LEDs to come
They'll
back?
be fair priced, and they will have all the gaming specs that anybody could dream for right out of the box, ready to go. And they'll have very high performance and video performance for picture quality.
Okay.
So the QNEDs in particular, I'm very excited about. They'll be participating and competing in our TV Shootout this year, which will be September 12th of 2021, coming up very shortly.
Yep.
We're going to have the QNED 90, the QNED 99. We're going to have a separate 8K event. And we'll have the A90J as well, along with the Z9, ZX will be competing this year.
The ZX is right here. It's off right now.
We have it off right now.
But as of right now, I would say that even with as beautiful as the A90 is, the ZX is still pretty incredible.
Yes.
So.
And we'll also have all the high-end flagship Samsung TVs. We'll have the QN90A and we'll have the QN900A participating as well. And we are talking to Hisense on their dual cell LCD.
Can't wait to see that.
We are looking for advanced technologies that compete with these major premium brands with their flagship models. And it looks like that might qualify. We'll be testing that in early July for its consideration in our TV Shootout this year.
Excellent. Now, do you have approximate times that you're expecting the QNED, the Z9J, and the X95? It's through the summer, right?
Yes. So the QNED from LG are going to be out the week of June 28th.
Okay.
So early July.
Okay.
The X95J from Sony and the Z9J 8K will be out the week of July 26th.
Excellent.
So early August, really. For those 2 Sony models.
And those dates are all, obviously, everybody knows are subject to change, but...
They are, but they're
pretty solid?
They're
Excellent.
pretty solid indeed.
All right, Robert. Well, we will be here to see those panels, and you'll see them during the shootout, but there's plenty here. I highly doubt we'll find room for them, right, Robert?
Yes, we will. We'll probably have to get a bigger store, but we'll find room for them.
All right, Robert. Well, thank you and Wendy for your time.
Thank you so very much.
And we'll see you.
Thank you. See you soon. Take care. All the best.
All right, guys, this is me walking into the location just to show you the sheer amount of A90Js at 83 inches that are in the store. There are no other sizes in the gallery portion of Robert and Wendy's store. The 55-inch G1 is there. It is the smallest panel in the store right now as far as being presented. All of these are open and being calibrated. Those 2 are sealed. All of them are spoken for. There is the LG ZX 8K, and this is the back of the Master Series. They all have that similar look to the back. Some cable management, panels to remove. It is interesting having these panels so close together, and being dwarfed by them is pretty awesome. There's equipment everywhere. And as I pull back this A90, here is a Samsung QN90A. So far, my favorite LED this year. There is an 83-inch C1. Robert was hoping to have these comparable, or at least to be compared with the A90. There just isn't the room in their location right now. We'll come back and do that. And I know the reflection handling looks bad. That's what everyone is going to say that dislike OLED. This is a very, very bright room, as I've mentioned a few times. Even the Z9J at 4,000 nits had reflections on it. Even the QN90A and the Q900A, which I did videos on, had reflection issues in this room. Here is the LG G1 Evo. Beautiful panel, beautiful design. And to show you the back of the design, a lot of OLEDs, or all of them in fact, as thin and beautiful as they are, they always get chunky at the back. The G1 is able to have that entire body streamlined. There was a wallpaper LG behind me, which is flat to the wall, covered by boxes, but this isn't that. But you can see as I get to the rear of it, that it's very clean. And as you go straight down, there isn't that hump. Just lays straight down. That stand is a universal stand that they have in the store. I actually like that universal stand because it is center standing. See my legs. A90J's back there. So as Robert mentioned in the shootout, what you'll see is the entire 4K lineup this year at the higher end go against each other. QN90A, you'll see the A90, you'll see the C1, you'll see the G1, and then what you'll see is the ZX, the QN900A, the QNEDs, anything 8K, they'll go against each other, and then we'll combine them and have them compete 8K versus 4K. You'll see that in September. Very impressed with the G1 as well. I wish we had the 77-inch out. Very, very beautiful panel. But I am so excited to try and bring you some footage of the Z9J. I really want LEDs to make a comeback. I love OLEDs. I love the A80J I have behind me, but I'm really rooting for the LED lineup. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you as always. Take care.